You're sealed in a cold stone cell under the greatest arena the world has known. Above, 50,000 people just watched your husband die. The crowd is thinning, torches gutter. Then you hear heavy footsteps on the passageway. A shadow fills the doorway. It is the gladiator who survived the bloodshed, his armor dark with someone else's blood. A guard unlocks your door and points. This is not a movie scene. This was ordinary in the Roman world. What follows the applause and the parades is a chapter of Roman history rarely taught. The organized, state-run machinery of cruelty that carried on after the public spectacle ended. This is not speculation. Ancient writers mention it. Archaeology uncovers it. The traces are literally carved into the underground rooms beneath amphitheaters. Stay with me. This is a side of Rome Hollywood almost never shows. If you want hidden history brought into the light, hit like and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. To understand those subterranean horrors, start with Rome's habit of turning defeat into inventory. When Roman legions took a city, they didn't simply win a battle, they processed an entire population. Able-bodied men were often killed or sent to forced labor. Children were sold across the empire, and many women were catalogued as captives. The empire recorded them, categorized them by origin and age, and treated them as state property. Roman law and administrative practice created a framework where conquered people were legally dehumanized. That legal status made certain abuses invisible to Roman courts and, for many Romans, morally acceptable. The arena was not merely entertainment. It was theatre with a political purpose, a ritualized demonstration of who had power. What happened when the crowds left is where the spectacle became something else entirely. Beneath the arena ran a vast network of tunnels, lifts, and rooms. Moving animals, props, and people in and out of the spectacle above. Archaeologists have found small chambers purpose-built in these underground zones, stone benches at specific heights, iron rings embedded in the walls, heavy doors that locked from the outside. Inscriptions and scratched messages in some of these spaces give a heartbreaking human context to the architecture. Contemporary writers, Martial, Juvenal, Seneca among them, leave hints and descriptions that, when read alongside the physical evidence, begin to form a pattern. The underground was not a chaotic afterthought. It was organized space, holding rooms, processing corridors, ledger-keeping officials. In short, a logistics system for human beings. Gladiators occupied a strange social place, enslaved and vulnerable, but also celebrated and feared. Rome remembered Spartacus, and the memory of slave uprising shaped how authorities treated these fighters. To manage that danger and to keep gladiators loyal, the system mixed punishments with material rewards, food, money, freedom for exceptional fighters. But the records and the archaeology suggest another kind of incentive, one grimly suited to the empire's mindset: access to captive women. The process appears bureaucratic rather than ad hoc. Captives were registered in ledgers by officials, they were categorized by origin and condition, and then they were housed in curated sections of the subterranean complex. After certain spectacles, those in charge would escort gladiators into the tunnels, show them rows of holding cells, and the selection or assignment would take place. Whether the gladiator chose or officials directed the outcome, the institutional framework made the result routine. Some scholars caution that the archaeological remains could have had multiple uses, and we should be careful not to overread ambiguous evidence. That caveat is fair. But when you combine the layout of the chambers with contemporary texts, administrative practices, and graffiti scratched by people who lived there, a coherent picture emerges. The graffiti are especially powerful. Names, desperate pleas, fragmented notes that read like final records of real people. The very voices that formal histories erase. Ancient authors sometimes refer to mythic reenactments and other staged violence with a casual tone that would shock modern readers. Their offhandness gives us a sense of how normalized much of this behavior was. Passages that describe punishment or theatrical cruelty often show admiration for the spectacle's thoroughness rather than horror at the human cost. The women who passed through this system came from places already torn apart by war. They had often seen family members killed or dispersed, homes destroyed, and then been marched, examined, stripped of names and assigned numbers. The journey to the arena was a progression through layers of humiliation and loss. Beneath the cheers and the food stalls, these women waited in cramped cells, listening to the sounds of killing above and fearing the door that might open for them next. There are ledger entries and administrative notes that treat these women as state inventory. Origin, age, physical condition. Personal testimony is rare. Official records do not record suffering. But the architecture, the inscriptions and the scattered textual references make the human cost painfully plain. Publicly, the games demonstrated Rome's dominance. Privately, the same infrastructure functioned as a form of social control. Distributing captives as privileges served multiple aims, rewarding fighters cheaply, reinforcing a social hierarchy, and sending a message to conquered populations about the consequences of resistance. The machinery of spectacle and the machinery of domination were one and the same. There were rare moments when the system produced paradoxy. For example, women who fought in the arena. These instances generated scandal and confusion among Roman elites. The reaction was not concern for women's safety so much as anxiety about how sexualized violence appeared in public and how it reflected on Roman dignity. Emperors sometimes banned such events not out of compassion, but to maintain the carefully managed image of the spectacle. When we admire Roman engineering, law, or literature, don't let those achievements blind you to the empire's darker innovations. The same administrative skill that built aqueducts organized vast systems of human exploitation. That contradiction is crucial. Genius and brutality, civic achievement and organized cruelty could and did coexist.